When you're painting yourself, is there any sense in which you're painting an emotional condition? I mean, those portraits after the death of George Dyer look extremely tragic.
Well, I suppose I suppose that what you do is coloured by the kind of psychological state that you're in at certain times, but it would be an unconscious thing and not a conscious thing, because after all, I'm not at all an expressionist painting. I'm not trying to express anything. I wasn't trying to express the sorrow about somebody committing suicide or something like that when I did those portraits of myself, but perhaps it comes through without knowing it.
In fact, there's a triptych of George Dyer, I think, which comes the nearest, almost the nearest you ever come to a story, doesn't it?
It is, in fact, the nearest I've ever done to a story, because that is, as you know, the triptych, that is how he was found. And so to that extent, it is probably the nearest thing I've ever done to something which has a story.
You said that one of the reasons you painted yourself was because your friends were dying around you like flies.
Well, certainly a lot of people that I've known very well have died. They were generally heavy drinkers, and perhaps, I don't know if that contributed to it or not. Well, there it is. It's just the process of growing old. I mean, life becomes more of a desert, in a sense, around you.
Do you think about death much, or...?
I don't think much about it. I mean, I could say that you're always aware of it. I mean, you're always aware of it. It's just round the corner for you. But I don't think about it because there's nothing to think about. When it comes, it's there. You've had it.
But you have an acute sense of mortality, don't you?
Well, don't you think everybody has?
No, I don't think everybody does have. I mean, you described some time about when you were very young, just having a sense of the precariousness and the precipitousness of life, and never having left you.
Well, no, I certainly have that very, very strongly. But then I think if you have a very strong feeling for life, I mean, its shadow, death, is always with you too. Mm. I mean, it's only another turn of the coin.
From the Colony Room, Bacon usually goes to a casino nearby in Soho. Gambling's always been an important part of his life, just as chance and accident play a major role in his painting.
$17 black.
I like the atmosphere of casinos. You talk to people at the bar, and there's the excitement of whether they're winning or not winning, and the despair of people who've lost everything, and all that goes on in a very concentrated space.
Yeah. I believe you generally play roulette, do you?
I do.
Why is that?
Well, they say it's the silliest game you can play, and the odds are, because the odds are more against you than all the others, but with the odds as they are, if you happen to hit the numbers, which I play on, sometimes your returns are very rapid. I'm a heavy loser in the end. In fact, I think I must be the perfect compost for casinos, because they must love somebody who comes in who's always losing. And I always remember many years ago there was a casino which doesn't exist now in Curzon Street, and I happened to have known the man, and I'd been in there once or twice, and I won or lost something. And he came up to me and he said, "Oh, you know," Franz, you can run up the bill. You can pay us by cheque." Well, everything went wrong for me, and I lost about nearly 40,000, and I certainly hadn't got 40,000 in those days to pay. So it took me months and months and months to repay this man.
Do you feel that that you put other parts of your life at risk as you do when you're gambling? Do you think it's necessary for your painting to...
I don't think... I think risk is too strong a word. I always think of risk as being people who take real risks, like risk their lives. I don't think gambling's a real risk.
So this is a different sort of luck from the accident you're talking about in your painting?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us what the distinction is, then?
Well, the accident in painting is an accident you can make if the accident, as it were, something comes up, and you can use it, and you can develop it. Whereas with gambling, every time the wheel spins, there isn't anything you can do with it.
The one thing that comes compellingly from your work is that the experience that matters most to you is the experience of other human beings. Is that right? I mean, is that
yes,
the
that is
most
so.
important?
Yes, yes, it is. Much the most important, yes.
In the paintings about two people, they're almost always couplings. Are you interested in groups of people in any other relationship?
Oh, certainly I am. I don't happen to paint them, or perhaps be able to paint them. Partly the couplings are, or you call couplings of two people having sex, is that it's one of the things where generally they talk less than in when they're talking to one another in conversation or something like that. Because I'm not really a conversational artist. I don't do conversation pieces, and the coupling of them is a way really of cutting all that out, because whatever conversation they have, it may be fairly short.
It could be said that they're all violent couplings. Would you agree with that?
Well, I suppose most couplings are violent, aren't they, fairly? I mean, they're more or less, but I suppose perhaps when you ejaculate, they become more violent.
And that's the nature of the violence in the painting?
I think it probably is, but I don't really know. I mean, they're figures coupled, but I don't know how violent they really look to other people.
Is there a sense in which you're representing the bodies almost in their animal way?
Well, of course, we are animals, aren't we? We are just part of animal life.
But doesn't that lead you to think that life there's not much point in trying to improve life for other people and that sort of thing? Do you think there is?
Well, I'm not a do-gooder, and I suppose one should want to improve life, and one should want to. I don't like to think of people. I don't want to think of people suffering, but then they do, because they breed at such a rate that they're bound to suffer.
Are you interested when you're painting about whether the painting will talk in terms of pain or pleasure, or do those sort of things interest you or even enter into what you're doing at all?
Well, I hope they'll look like a reflection of reality or recreation of reality. But you could say that reality, nearly all reality, is pain. I mean, if one wants to read it that way. And when I say reality is pain, what I do feel, if you're going to catch anything that is really real in painting and making images, they will, when you say, because I don't think they're painful. I think if anything is strong, people think it's painful. I don't think my things have anything to do with pain, in fact.
Are you surprised your paintings have become so successful?
Very. Yes. I am surprised. I never thought they'd sell at all. I always thought I'd have to take some other kind of job, but that's luck.